Welcome to the first of what I'm hoping are many LeapCast episodes. I'm Mike White, class of Leadership Pensacola, class of 2024. Wow, 2025. We are technically in 2025, but the class of 2024, greatest class ever, here with
Liko, Crump, and I'm class of 2019, the most accomplished class ever.
We also like to refer to ourselves, some of you will know, as Leap's Most Wanted. I think we're actually the most applied for class.
Oh,
if I'm
excellent.
not mistaken.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, appreciate that. I think we are actually trying to keep up with this year's class to see, how many people apply, but I think we beat this year's class too. So we'll continue keeping an eye on that. But
awesome.
We just wanted to start this podcast as well. Really, it was my brainchild. I've been posting about it constantly for any of you that are Leap alumni and are on the Leap alumni page. If you haven't paid up on your dues, pay up on your dues. But have been posting about this because I really wanted a way for Leadership Pensacola alumni to connect with each other, but also with the community as well. Just to kind of bridge that gap between, the several classes. I mean, it's been going for 42 years now, I think, the program.
Yeah. It's definitely been going on for quite some time.
So just trying to bridge that gap between classes to really just continue to connect people. So a little bit about me. Again, Mike White, class of 2024. Work for a local health insurance agency, Torgerson Causey Insurance and Benefits, where our mission is to be the leader in benefits and insurance solutions, providing peace of mind to employers, individuals, and families. But also, just now, actually, before we started this, was talking to Quinn, now a member of the LEAP Alumni Committee. So, yeah. But also involved with Autism Pensacola here locally, a member of the executive committee there. Looking to make a transition potentially into a secretarial role by the time that this airs. So we'll see what happens there. But what about you, Liko? Tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I actually am employed by the Pensacola Chamber. Digital media is my lane, my avenue, or whatever. But really, the purpose of what I do is I just love to tell the stories. I love to tell the stories of our membership. I love to tell the stories of the organization, what we're doing, and love to tell the stories on how the Chamber is bridging the gap and being a convener between all the different organizations within town. With me having an opportunity to be able to extend the reach of the Chamber to our membership and to Leadership Pensacola, it's really an honor. I think that it's a fantastic organization, and I believe in the mission of the Chamber to be able to just make it a better community to live, work, and play kind of thing. And in addition to that, the Leadership Pensacola program is absolutely amazing and phenomenal. And it's one of those things that once you are in it, it will change the trajectory of your life, whether it be physically, socially, financially, or whatever, just because of the connections that you're able to make. And then once you're, in Leadership Pensacola, you really do join a group of people from the many years prior, an alumni. You meet someone, they'll be like, "Oh, you're in Leadership Pensacola. I'm whatever class, 1993, alumni, best class ever, or whatever." And then there's sort of a camaraderie that's automatically created with this person that you never had a connection with before. So super, super powerful.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, when I initially had posed the idea, I had kind of dropped it in our class group, but also in the alumni page, just to kind of gauge interest. And then I reached out to Quinn, who's actually just walked in. Hey, Quinn, how you doing?
Hey, Quinn.
But reached out to him, and he was like, yeah, that'd be a great idea. And I figured there might be a little bit of traction there just to kind of put the idea out there. But the way that, Todd and you and Quinn have really embraced the idea of this podcast really just kind of is a testament to how the Chamber is really trying to connect the community.
Right.
So I first and foremost want to say I thank you all for really kind of allowing this to kind of come to fruition. So tell me a little bit about your personal experience with Leadership Pensacola. I know 2019, prior to COVID, I'd like to know what it was like prior to those times. I mean, it feels like, it was only 5 years ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago, 2019.
Yeah. So, the reason why we dubbed ourselves the most accomplished class ever was because that year we actually chose to take on multiple projects instead of just one. And we ended up doing 3 different projects. It was a scholarship program for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
There was a beautification project for Manna Food Pantries, and then there was also a project for Gulf Coast Kids House, was basically an online portal to be able to allow people to take the training program to become certified, to be able to spot and report child abuse and neglect and everything. That program that we actually set up with Gulf Coast Kids House has now been renamed to No Child Abuse, with KNOW, No Child Abuse. And so it's awesome to see that continue in the path that we had helped start. But that's why we are the most accomplished class ever, is our 3 projects. Of course, it was a lot of work with all of us, but definitely so rewarding. Now, there's pros and cons to everything. I would say that the pro is we were able to accomplish a lot. The con is now you have kind of silos. The groups kind of split up, and so one of the advantages of doing one project is that everyone is working together, cohesively and collectively to work on that. But one of the things that I loved about Leadership Pensacola was you're surrounded by a group of individuals who range in all walks of their career. They might be fresh out of college and it's their first year in their career. They may be a seasoned professional and they're going to retire in a few years. They might be an elected official. They might be an executive, C-suite executive at a large organization, or it might just be a salesperson or a pastor of a church. I mean, it goes all the way across the board. And whenever you get that group of people, and they're curated as well, curated from a group of nominees. And the reason why they were chosen is because when they were selected, the committee that makes the selection process happen feels like, well, these are going to be the people that are going to be most impactful, this year for the group, and that can make a difference, make a change, and then will also benefit them as well, the individual. And so, you're surrounded with these people throughout the year that maybe you normally would not be with in this context. So you might have seen all these people, you might have read their names, maybe seen them on LinkedIn, maybe seen them on a billboard, maybe you voted for them or voted against them or whatever. But in this context, your peers, you're working together, and because of some of the icebreakers and different activities, you find yourself maybe in a position where you would never be with this other person. So maybe there's an attorney in town, and their name, you've seen their commercials, but now you're on a ropes course with them, and your life depends on them, and you're sweating, and you're in T-shirt and shorts or whatever. That's not a normal circumstance that you would be with that person. Or maybe you are, locked up in a dark room and it's uncomfortable, and, you're like, when am I going to get out of this room? Now, for people who don't know what I'm talking about, it's an icebreaker and it's safe. But again, it's one of those scenarios where you just normally wouldn't. And what that does is that allows people to let down their inhibitions and their first and second and third layers of professionalism. I guess.
No, absolutely.
Maybe, I don't know if that's the right word, but they just let their guard down and they become kind of vulnerable in a way. But that allows those bonds to become very, very strong. And I have lifelong friends that I've gained out of being in Leadership Pensacola. And, anyone who excels in their profession, they get older and they get family and all that stuff. The older that you get, the harder it is to make real friends.
No, absolutely.
But, those are my takeaways from it. And then in addition to that, the ability to be able to do something good for the community with a collective mind is powerful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was actually listening to Scott Leyline, who's this year's class chair, was on the Monica Sanford show talking about Leadership Pensacola. And he made a really good point that, when I got nominated, I'm just an account executive. I don't have like an actual leadership role within my company. But Scott made a perfect point by saying, everyone's going to be asked to lead at some point Doesn't matter what it is.
Correct.
And I think that speaks volumes to, what the program's really about. I mean, the different curriculum days, you really find out ways to get involved in the community, even in a minor role, which can lead later on to a leadership role. And not only that, just the program itself, going into it, there were the required days. You have opening retreat, SimSoc, and the closing retreat. And at face value, you're like, why are these days required? I mean, it's just asking so much of me. But then when you actually go through the experience, opening retreat is where you really start to kind of build those relationships, that foundation of, this is who this person is, what they do, why they're here. And then SimSoc goes to a really deep level. I mean, as far as what we do that weekend, the things that are discussed, the kind of, interactions that we have, it really kind of solidifies those bonds. You really start to find people that you really have much deeper connections with, and people that you have a lot more in common that you wouldn't have even thought you had in common with. And then the closing retreat, I don't even think it needs to be required, because I don't know anybody that would even want to miss that, because that's the last time that we're all getting together. I don't know anybody from my class that would have missed that day for the world.
Right.
I mean, it's a really impactful experience, which is kind of why I wanted to start this podcast in the first place, was just to keep everybody connected, but also to kind of build on those relationships, allowing people that have gone through the program or people that are wanting to go through the program to either hear about what their fellow alumni are doing or how this program has impacted alumni, to allow those that haven't really made that decision of wanting to join the program or sign or register for the program, because you can sign yourself up. You can, apply yourself if you want.
Right.
I know Johnny Crane made a very clear point that you got a call?
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. But I know
Johnny, a rookie move.
No, you're good. You're good. But I know Johnny Crane made it clear that he actually nominated himself, and that was actually pretty funny. But honestly, it's, wanting that betterment for yourself to, learn how you can lead within this community specifically. I mean, it shouldn't be anything that you should be ashamed of. I mean, if you really want to be involved and be a part of it, nominate yourself 100%. But I mean, there are so many nominations that come in every year. I mean, it's clear that there are people in this community that either want themselves to be involved or know somebody they want getting involved. So that was part of why, I wanted to start the podcast. And then also just giving people a chance to hear about what's going on locally, doing some one-on-ones, maybe having some group conversations. I know we have some elected officials, Alex Andrade, for example, who has been through Leadership Pensacola himself. Being able to get him on the podcast to talk about local issues, I think would be really cool.
Yeah.
And then just, talking about just regular day-to-day things. I mean, really what's going on in the city as a whole, events. Would like to have some people on to talk about local sports, for example. I think that'd be something cool. But as far as that goes, I mean, success, you've been doing podcasts with the Chamber. What do you think success would look like for this podcast specifically?
Well, of course, if you gain a listenership and there's a desire for people to listen to it, I think that with the talent pool to choose from for guests, if you're a LEAP alumni, that's such an illustrious pool of people.
Yeah,
you're talking about individuals who are ambitious, they're intelligent, they have the ability to navigate professional and business, world, and they have achieved a certain level of notoriety, within their peers to be able to be featured in this group in Leadership Pensacola. And, I have no doubt that there's going to be a dynamic, guest list on the podcast. And I feel like that's really all you need, to be successful in it. I know that, it's kind of like if you record it, and content is king with the right people, then listeners will come. And, I feel like every single person that has went through LEAP has something to share.
Oh, absolutely.
They've got something to share. They've got, and even if they never even talked about Leadership Pensacola, you're talking about individuals who are making things happen, within their organizations, within the community. And, kind of like, for instance, you said with your company that you work for, you're not in a per se leadership role, but you're representing them right now, and what you do makes a difference within their organization, and you're carrying that over into this program as well. And so the whole reason this podcast is happening is because you're being a leader. So I mean,
never thought about it like that.
Yeah. I have no doubt that that there'll be a level of success just based on the talent pool that you're going to be able to pull from. And that's one of the great things about Leadership Pensacola.
And I had posted about it initially in the Leap Alumni Facebook group, and I would have been happy if I had even gotten a few hits on it, just a couple of people commenting. There were a lot of alumni that commented and said they're definitely interested. They think it'd be great, a lot of likes, and it's just the amount of support makes it clear that this is something I think people would be interested in. Even if it's just, Leadership Pensacola alumni, you're talking about hundreds of people who have been through the program. Yeah. So I think that in and of itself is fantastic. But, the program as a whole, it really is life-changing. You were talking about your 3 projects. We only did 1 because we figured we wanted quality over quantity. We had an option to do more than 1 project. And there were a couple of people who were wanting to do 2, but I personally voted for 1 just because I wanted, if we were going to do a project, to pour our heart and soul into that one project. And in the end, and I'm sure a lot of Leap alumni can attest to this, and I'm sure you can too, you feel like that much more connected to the community. Oh, yeah. Because my office is actually right around the corner. Our project was Valerie's house, which now holds a much deeper meaning to me. I mean, through the program, I'm sure, and my classmates know that, my mom was battling breast cancer at the time and in March passed away. But the way that they surrounded me and just loved on me through that whole situation, Valerie's house being that place of solace for peer-to-peer counseling for those who have lost parents, lost loved ones. I mean, it hits a lot different now. Yeah. And being able to, drive by there very often, because again, it's right around the corner from my office, and I tend to make a stop at Krispy Kreme, which is right behind it quite often, but we're not going to talk about that. But, I get to see that and say, I was a part of that. Yeah. And say, there are generations of children and families who are going to be gratefully impacted by the support that is given by, that place. So really, I'm super excited about this podcast. I think it's going to be fantastic. But this will be the first of what I like to call the intro series. I think we're talking about doing 3 episodes, just kind of as one bunch that'll be released. Right. I think at this time will be October, I think we talked about. Yeah. Yeah. So really excited for that. Next episode, I believe, is going to be Todd. Todd will come up, Todd Thompson, president of the Chamber, president and CEO, I believe, of the Chamber. Yeah. But we're going to talk to him a little bit about how the program has morphed over the years. I actually watched the episode of the Toddcast and in preparation for his interview. Yeah. When it was right after he became president and CEO. So I'm excited to kind of talk to him a little bit about that and how he's seen it change over the last 5 years and what he sees for the next 5 years. And then Scott Laidline will have on the episode as well, the current chair for the class of 2025, Leadership Pensacola class of 2025. They kind of talk to him about what his goals are for the year, what he's excited about. So really looking forward to that. But do you have anything you want to add to that at all? Yeah, sure. I'll do 3 shout-outs. 4 shout-outs. 4 shout-outs. 4 shout-outs. Just the ones that you had recently mentioned. Todd Thompson, he's the president and CEO, and he's been a fantastic leader for the organization. He's been really, really great, and he's taken us through, some interesting times in the chamber, and, we just come out strong, and it's been an amazing, thing. So shout out to Todd. Ooh, quick shout out to Todd. Every time I've come in here so far, his door's always open. Doesn't matter how busy he is. He always picks up his head and says, hey. Yeah. He's just the nicest guy in the world. That's true. It's amazing. I'm like, this man is running an entire chamber, and he says hey to me every time I walk in. Not just, oh, hey. It's, hey, how are you doing? And I'm just like, I don't have the attention span for it. Well, he's put up with me for all these years, so he's got to be a man of resilience. Yeah. Shout out to Quinn Bro
for running the program now, Leadership Pensacola.
Yeah.
And so he's done a fantastic job and really, taken the reins and continues to drive the Leadership Pensacola program into something that is just amazing.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to do a shout out to you for coming, and putting this all together. And just thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And then to all of the Leadership Pensacola alumni who have volunteered over the years on the committees, during the days, and who can, because they're really the ones who are turning those gears and who are, doing the heavy lifting for a lot of the things that happen for the events. Quinn is making it happen from a directorial role, but without those people jumping in and volunteering all their time and hours and energy and everything, it wouldn't be possible to happen. So shout out to all those people.
Yeah, and I think Scott said on Monica's podcast that I think we had like 120 alumni that volunteered or that signed up to volunteer. Like expressed interest, and it's amazing.
Impressive.
There are a lot of people who go through those kinds of programs and they finish and they're just like, okay, I'm going back to my thing, keep my head down.
Yeah.
But the impact, it's clear the impact that it's having on people because they're all coming back. And it's not just from my class last year. It's not like it's just a more recent thing.
Yeah.
We have, several years back, people that are still getting involved. So I think it's really going to be impactful for years to come. I think this program is just going to continue getting better and better and better and continue building on what's already been done. But as far as volunteering goes, we need your help as well. I do not plan on hosting every single one of these episodes. So if you have interest in doing any of the episodes, please let us know.
Cool.
I'm hoping to create kind of a separate email for myself for this podcast specifically because my personal email gets a little flooded from time to time. But MikeWhite4928@gmail.com. If you have any interest at all in being on the podcast, have any questions that you think should be asked on a specific episode, let us know. But I think I'm wanting to do something special for these episodes to kind of cap these episodes off, to really allow people to get to know their fellow alumni. So I'm doing what's called, and it's a work in progress, the name, so don't judge me for it, the perfect Pensacola day, all right?
All right.
So the game is the Pensacola Chamber has given you the opportunity to do everything that you could possibly want in a 24-hour period for free in Escambia County. We're calling it Escambia County so that way you can do here and the beach as well. So we'll kind of run through your day. I'll give you some prompts to kind of follow along with, so you just answer how you feel, all right? So, most important meal of the day, breakfast. Where are you headed?
Oh, wow.
Where are you going to breakfast?
All right. So, for breakfast, man, there are so many options. But I would say if I was in the city of Pensacola, I would go to our chamber member, Another Broken Egg. And then if I was out on Pensacola Beach to catch the sunrise to start the day, then I would go over to Native Cafe.
Okay.
So
nice.
Those are my two breakfast spots that
I haven't had Native. I've been wanting to go to Native.
Native Cafe is awesome.
I'm a big Cafe Nola guy. Cafe Nola is just phenomenal.
Oh,
the view is beautiful. Even for lunch, the po' boys they overload that thing.
Yeah.
Typically, you get a po' boy from some restaurant, and you're going to finish it, and by the time you get to the last couple of bites, it's just straight bread. It's like, when you get to the end of that thing, you have leftover, like, fish and shrimp sitting on your tray. It's phenomenal. All right. You forget to get coffee or tea with your breakfast. Where are you going for your coffee or your tea? Do you drink coffee or tea?
I drink an enormous amount of coffee.
There you go.
My teammates here at the chamber would probably call it a problem, but I drink coffee most of the day. So, man, I've got a few spots. I would say that one of my favorite spots here in downtown to go to is the Rex Theater, or the Rex Cafe, I think is the official name for it. Man, I just love what they've done to be able to kind of retain the outside of the building, and just, open that up to the public.
Yep.
So for those that don't know, it's actually a church on the inside, but they've opened up the front of it as a cafe. So that's one of my favorite places to go for coffee. And then I would probably say another place would be like Drowsy Poet. I really like Drowsy Poet light roast coffee. It tastes really, really good.
Yeah, if I just want straight coffee, just like an espresso or something, I'm going to Fosco's.
Oh yeah.
But if I want something like sweet, something that's got like chocolate and hazelnut in it, I'm going to Drowsy Poet because the Po I think it is that they have. It's like it's an espresso based drink, but it's got like chocolate syrup and hazelnut. And I'm just like, if I've got a sweet tooth hankering in the morning, 100% going to Drowsy Poet.
If you're going to the one on Brent, you've got the Baptist Hospital over there in case you have a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. All right. So you got time between now and lunch. What are you doing? What's a typical day for Liko on the weekend? Or just a free day?
Well, if it was on the weekend, if it was on a Saturday, then it would definitely be go down to Palafox
Market.
And
I love it.
hit the market. And the cool thing about the market is they actually have some requirements to make sure that you made the thing yourself. You didn't go on to AliExpress or Temu and like order a bunch of stuff, and it's not a swap meet, or anything like that. It's a lot of handmade goods, a lot of homemade style artisan foods and everything. So I highly recommend to do that, and it's a great way to be able to meet a bunch of different people in the community. I mean, from there you can just continue to walk down the street and just take advantage of all of the different things down that walkway while it's still cool. And you have you've got like the chocolate shop, and you've got Kilwins and everything. If you got a sweet tooth,
very dangerous.
Yeah,
very dangerous.
And then you can continue down. So that's probably what I would do on mid morning.
Yep, that's probably the same. I mean, that's my ideal day, is to be on a Saturday going to Palafox Market. It's just a beautiful thing watching all these people who have these hopes and dreams, running their own businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their way of living. That's how they make their living. So seeing what people are dedicated to and what they're passionate about, and watching them pour all that love into that, it's a phenomenal experience. You feel the love walking down through Palafox. All these people that just have these goods that they want you to try. Because I'm a sucker for like a cracker with like a candied jalapeno and like pepper jelly and cream cheese.
Yeah.
And there's tons of people that are making like their own pepper jellies, and also it's just phenomenal. It's probably the most dangerous part about Palafox Market for me. It's the first person. It depends on how it's structured or where I end up parking, but the first person that has a stand with those pepper jellies, they're getting my business 100%.
Yeah.
And it's also the only place that you can really get, as far as a retail standpoint, Emerald Coast Bakery. That bread is phenomenal, dude. The focaccia.
That's right.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's my favorite kind of bread. It's focaccia.
All right, lunchtime. Where are we going?
Lunchtime, man. So many options for lunch. But I would have to say it would be Blue Dot Burger to stop by and grab a Blue Dot Burger. I love those burgers, man. They are wonderful. They always have been.
Read my mind. Blue Dot Burger, 100%. Either Blue Dot or South Market. South Market, especially the new location that's right on the water, where Saltgrass, and I think, what was it before? Landry's, I think, is what.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and I think it was something else before that too, but I've only been down here since 2016. No, 2012. Wow, holy jeez. Time flies, man.
But I would, the whole thing is that's not a dine-in restaurant, so you just got to grab it, and then, you could go down to like Maritime Park and chill out there and eat it. I think that there's that new park where Bruce Beach. I don't know the official name of that park. That's a real nice park right there on the waterway too, which is right down the street from Blue Dot. So those would probably be my recommendations to do in the midday.
Okay, perfect. Now, you spent too much time earlier on in the day running around doing your thing. You had lunch. Now you passed out. And you wake up, and now it's dinner time. Where are we going for dinner?
All right, my favorite place in town is McGuire's Irish pub. Yeah, McGuire's, that place. I've been going there for many, many years. I have so many great memories there. It's such a unique spot, and they really have just held on to their roots. And they, if you went there today or you went there 15 years ago, it's the same experience. and then if you get an opportunity, you got to go see Rich McDuff perform in the evening and hear, all of his different Irish singing tunes and then his limericks and everything. And be sure to have your opportunity to kiss the moose.
Yeah. No, I still haven't kissed the moose. I've been down
man.
here for as long as I have, and I've never kissed the moose.
Yeah,
I really don't think I plan
the
to,
later
though.
that you go, you have opportunities to kiss other things too, but that's probably past the rating level of the podcast.
Oh,
but
boy.
there are 3 items to kiss in that room, and we'll only talk about kissing the moose.
Fair enough. Fair enough. See, my favorite thing about McGuire's, though, if I'm lucky enough to get seated in the wine room, the wine cellar, right outside the bathrooms, and they have a window right there too, so you can watch people walk to the bathrooms and mistake the women's for the men's. It's the best thing to watch the reactions. Oh, it's wonderful. It's dinner and a show, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
But my choice for dinner or lunch, is it? No, dinner. Yeah, dinner. I'd say Jackson's.
Yeah,
Love
Jackson's great.
It's phenomenal food. They also use Emerald Coast Bakery bread, so
Yeah,
that's how I found out about it initially.
I see.
So it's so good. And then the wine list that they have is phenomenal. But the food too. Food's so good. And the atmosphere is really nice. It's right in the middle of downtown. So like once you're done, you can just walk around and hang out and do your own thing. All right. After dinner drinks, what spot are you hitting up?
Elbow Room.
Elbow Room?
Yeah, Elbow Room. For those who don't know what the Elbow Room is opened up by a gentleman by the name of Flynn back in like the 70s. And he adorned that red room with artifacts from beer, such as like Schlitz beer, Star Trek paraphernalia. And it is a time capsule.
Interesting.
It has not changed pretty much at all since then. And the new owners, who I don't know how many years that they've had it, but it hasn't been that long, have vowed to maintain the aesthetic, and they have done an excellent job because it looks exactly the same as when I went into it, which was about 20 years ago, and it had not been changed 20 years prior to that.
Yeah.
So definitely the Elbow Room. That's my spot.
Nice. Definitely. I got to go with Perfect Plains / Garden and Grain because they're kind of connected. But that place is phenomenal. The beer's so good. I'm a big craft beer guy. My friends give me they give me a hard time for it. I'm like, just drink a Miller. Just drink a Miller. I'm like, no, I like craft beer because people like to get creative from time to time. And like again, the sweet tooth. If I'm really wanting like a something that's chocolatey. Like a porter or something like that, like a really dark beer. Because a lot of craft breweries will do something like peanut butter or chocolate or coffee related. I'm just that's right up my alley.
My favorite place to go for some craft beer is Emerald Republic Brewery.
Oh, that's a nice spot too. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So Phil is always experimenting and creating and everything, and I love the vibe of his place, and it's really the only brewery that you can go into and hear like heavy metal and hard rock.
He's very passionate about what he does. He's always in there. All right, what do we got? All right, so it looks like the Wahoos and the Ice Flyers are both playing at home tonight. Which game are we going to?
I would probably say it's going to be a hockey game.
Hockey game?
Yeah, I'm going to go see a hockey game before I go see a baseball game. I think that the baseball program here is amazing. I'm just not a baseball guy.
Yeah. So. See, when I put this together, I was initially thinking a Wahoo's game.
Yeah.
But as hot as it's been outside, I think I want to be inside around the ice where it's probably nice and cool. So I think I'm going with the Ice Flyers.
Well, okay. Well, so I probably like hockey a lot more because I have a tendency to, get distracted easily, ADHD or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's got to be fast paced or whatever. I can't watch baseball or golf or anything. Like that.
I think it's funny that baseball is just like a constant effort to speed up the pace. I worked in baseball a while back when I was in college. I worked as a marketing team intern for the AAA affiliate for the Atlanta Braves.
Cool.
At that time, that was when they first introduced the pitch clock. So that was when they were really starting to get into trying to speed up the pace of the game. But even then, the games were taking like 4 hours. And I'm just like, this is too long, man. This is way too long. Everybody needs to be sprinting at all times.
There are games that are fun to play and not fun to watch for me, and baseball is one of them.
Yeah.
But I gotta say that that they have an excellent program up there.
I think you probably like the Savannah Bananas Banana Ball.
I'm familiar with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
should come
yeah.
to Pensacola. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
that'd be really good.
that would be a lot of fun.
I
So
think that'd be really good.
So I actually had a chance to meet Yellow Tux Jesse at
Oh,
an
wow.
event in Mobile. So I'm
Nice.
familiar with Savannah Bananas.
Awesome. All right, last question. Midnight snack. Chamber didn't know what to get you. I'm sure actually though that the Chamber knows you well enough. They probably know the answers to all these. But for some reason, everything was open at midnight, like every single restaurant. So we're gonna run through a little bit of everything. So your favorite pizza.
Favorite pizza. I would have to say that my favorite pizza is East Hill Pizza.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite pizza.
Yeah. Same.
Okay,
East Hill.
cool,
Probably
cool.
East Hill for sure. All right. Favorite sushi.
Favorite sushi. Favorite sushi is going to be. Why is it? I cannot remember the name of that restaurant. It's on 9th Avenue. They moved into a church. What is it called? Sake Cafe.
Yeah.
Sake Cafe.
And then I was thinking of Dharma Blue. Dharma Blue has really good sushi.
Oh man,
from what I've heard.
I forgot about. There used to be a place called Nam,
Nom. That sounds
and it
familiar.
was on Palafox.
Yeah, but Dharma Blue, for sure. Favorite barbecue.
Favorite barbecue. Hotspot.
Hotspot, 100%.
Yeah.
Hotspot's so good. They have a food truck now because I live out in Gulf Breeze. They got a food truck now, like right before National Seashore, so it's a little bit closer now. I don't have to go all the way over to 9th Avenue, so that's good. Favorite tacos.
Favorite tacos. So I don't know about my favorite tacos because I'm actually I like tacos, but when I go to a Mexican restaurant, I rarely ever order tacos. But one of my favorite Mexican restaurants in town, which I've been a patron of for a couple decades, 2 or 3 now, is Taco Rock,
Okay.
Highway 29. Now you can't dine in anymore, but they have this California burrito, and that thing is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Tastes very, very good. They used to have the buffet back in the 90s, and you would pay like $6, and it would come with a drink. And you would just sit at your table, and then the kitchen would just make stuff and send it out to your table.
They don't do it like they used to.
Yeah, they don't do it like they used to. And you could just sit there for like an hour, and
Yeah.
they would just bring food out until you said yes to the sopapilla, which meant you were done.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
El Asador. It's got to be El Asador for me.
Oh yeah, they're
It's-
very, very good.
It looks funky. It looks a little suspect, but
Yeah,
those
yeah.
tacos are so good. You got to get there at the right time too, because it gets crowded quick.
So now that you have reminded me, actually the last place that I had tacos, which I thought were very, very good, because like I said, I usually don't order tacos, is Mama's Tacos on what is that, Olive Road. So they do things a little bit different. They make all their stuff fresh, including their tortillas and stuff, and you can really taste the freshness of the difference.
So good. And then lastly, favorite burger, which I feel like we've probably answered already.
Blue Dot.
Blue Dot.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The Top's got a second.
Yeah. Tops is really good. Would we consider, is Tops local?
I don't
local
know.
to
I don't know
here?
where it's locally owned. I know that they have a couple other locations.
I know there's one out in Navarre, which I'm not a huge fan of. The one in Pensacola is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think they
They're
do a
quick.
good job.
They get it done. All right. Well, that is it for our very first episode of LeapCast. Liko, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Again, if y'all have any suggestions for the podcast, shoot me an email, mikewhite4928@gmail.com. Hoping to have an email that is more LeapCast focused, but in the meantime, just email me at my personal email. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.